Happy Super Bowl pregame party, everybody. Woohoo! All right, so those folks that forgot that it was at 5 o'clock instead of 6 and you're not here yet, raise your hand, please. Colin, Jack was texting us about 5 minutes ago asking us questions about stuff, and I'm like, dude, we're getting started in a few minutes. Are you? Tell me you're at your computer, right? But so thanks everybody for joining. I am Bob. I'm the host this week, so thank you for joining us. We're going to start with introductions and start with our guest, As the Magpie Flies, the beautiful Amanda. Welcome. So you can tell everybody that don't know you a little bit about yourself and where you're from, what you ride, all that great stuff.
Hello, I'm Amanda. I have 5 motorcycles. I ride a CB500X most of the time, but I have lots of other bikes. I mostly ride ADV and long distance touring. My channel is all about motorcycle camping and getting out and doing the thing and like longer travel vlogs and that kind of stuff. I'm based in Portland, Oregon and Corvallis, Montana. I host an event called Rocky Mountain Roll every year on my family's property. It's like a very bare bones motorcycle camp out. It's super awesome. This is going to be our 6th year, which is super cool.
Wow.
Did I miss anything?
No, but I'm writing, texting my wife right now saying Amanda has 5 bikes. I only have 2. We got a problem. Can we talk? So that's great. Welcome. We're excited to have you on. Mr. Broncoride.
You stole my line. I was going to say, hi, I'm Colin. I only have 1 bike. You feel so inferior. Again, my name's Colin. I go by Broncoride on YouTube, and I ride a 2017 Harley-Davidson Street Glide Special, and I'm based in Maryland. I'm glad to be here. And Amanda, please, welcome. We're really glad you're here. Really glad you're here. What an infectious smile you have, man. That's awesome. Welcome. Jack?
Hey, everybody. Good evening. I am Amanda's dad. We were talking in the green room a little bit. And she goes about my gray beard. She goes, you must know my dad. So I am playing Amanda's dad today. Amanda, be a good person on this show. Now, everybody, I am HDR, good old friend HarleyDayRider. I ride the 2018 Road Glide Ultra, and by the graces of some kind of God, Mrs. HDR said, hey, it's time for you to have a second bike. So we are now in the market for bike number 2. So one day I will have 7 like Amanda, my daughter, and I will be so happy. So thanks, Amanda, for coming on the show. I've been watching you forever and ever and ever, and your trips are truly amazing.
Thank you.
You know what, Jack? You better buy that second bike while your wife is saying, get it now, right?
You're exactly right. You're right, because that can change in about 2 minutes.
I'd be at the dealership or online in a second. So, Amanda, welcome. I'm Bob, go by BoDean 52. I live in the beautiful state of 8 inches of snow, Michigan right now. It's awful, so just glad to talk to somebody that's actually able to ride. I have a 2018 Ultra Limited and a 2000 Road King. So I tried to not get too much Harley-Davidson stuff on me today, Amanda, because I know that you don't ride a Harley. Didn't want you to think this was a Harley show. But I can tell when the 3 of us who are all good friends are getting a little older when our guests now think of us that we're potentially their father. So that's a little concerning to me. But I do call Jack the godfather of motor vlogs. So, hey, kind of like Jack said, I've been a huge fan of yours way before I started making comments. Somebody I admired. So we'll give you enough butter enough later. I don't want to start you off so you can't talk through it. So format's mostly the same as everybody's used to. We're going to ask 4 questions of Amanda, 3 of all of us. So it'll be 7 questions. And if you can put some comments for Amanda in, we appreciate it. Colin is going to be the
question boy.
What's that?
I'll be question boy tonight.
Question boy. I was trying to be a little nicer to you this week. And then we'll, after we threw those questions, we'll go right to Amanda and try to get some answers on that stuff. And then if we have a little time, we'll do the rapid fire. But we know that the Super Bowl's on at 6:30, I guess. That would be an hour and a half from now. But since Pittsburgh is not in it, and the
I thought it was wait. I thought it was the Steelers and the Broncos. Am I mistaken?
No, Jack,
No.
did you take your medicine this morning?
No, the Cowboys and the Dolphins. No, that's not right.
Yeah, that's it. So, all right. First of all, are we drinking tonight? Are we have water? Are we good?
We are.
Michelob
Ultra.
I just have the Coke. Sorry, guys.
Sponsored by Coke. Amanda, as the Magpie.
This is for the fat.
Hold on, I'm writing down questions. Freaking pressure.
Colin, you're not drinking?
I am.
Wow, that is very nice.
Robin had to ask a question, so I'm trying to write it down.
Awesome. And hi, Robin. So, all right, we ready to go?
Okay, right.
All right, we are going to start with Amanda, and then we're going to go to Jack. So we're going to move Jack around a little bit, and Colin, and then I'll wrap up and go from there. All right, sound good?
Okay.
We were kind of prepping Amanda when we got on, saying, "Hey, we leave the questions up not because we're nice, but because we'll forget them." So, Amanda, as the Magpie Flies, and by the way, you got to start with how the name happened, right?
Okay.
It's a channel about travel and camping and doing the thing, which I think is awesome, right?
Yeah.
What inspired you to do all this? How'd this get going with you?
Can I answer the question first and then the channel name? Because that's really how it went.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 2014, after I graduated college, I was working at a tattoo shop, and my mentor, quote unquote mentor, she was extremely emotionally abusive, and she had convinced me that I wasn't worth anything. And I'm a finisher, so I stuck it out to the end of my apprenticeship, but I knew that I had completely disconnected from who I was or felt that I was, and I needed to take a long trip by myself. And I decided to do that on Lazarus, as many people know. And I did a big loop around Montana, and I lived off of my bike for 2.5 months. And I wanted to document it somehow, because I didn't think that I was going to be able to do a big long trip like that ever again. I thought that was my one go, and it was never going to happen again. And I knew that I can't keep a journal to save my life. I just can't. I can write down 1 or 2 pages. I can keep it up for 2 days, and then it just teeters off and I fail. But I wanted to be able to document it somehow so that I could relive it later. And pretty cliche. I decided to be oh well, the video diary way that long way round did it, where they're just talking to the camera at night. I'm I can do that. I can talk to a camera every night. That's fine, because I essentially tell the story of the whole day to my parents when I call them at the end of the day anyway. So I can tell that to the camera and it'll be fine. So the channel started purely as just recording that trip, and I didn't think I was going to continue making videos. It wasn't a big thing, and I just posted them so that I would have a place in the cloud that they would be safe, and I wouldn't be relying on my hard drives to keep them safe and that kind of stuff, and also so that my family could see what I went through. And get a better perspective on my experience. And then more and more people, after I finished the series, they're well, where's the next video? And I was okay. But the name, As the Magpie Flies, if you think about the phrase "as the crow flies," from one point to another, thinking about traveling long distances and that kind of stuff. So one direct point to another. But I don't travel that way. I'm there's my end point, and here's, but there's this thing over here that I could just go to, and then I get there and I'm oh, but there's this other thing I could just go see really quick, and if you've ever watched magpies, there are a lot of them in Montana, and we had a big flock that used to come to our property every year. So they're of course one of my favorite birds in general. But if you watch them, they're all over the place. They'll hop to one spot and they'll be like this, and they'll get up to fly to go to a tree. You can see what they're thinking, and then they're oh, but over there. So it was just pretty appropriate.
So there's no planning the trip, right? How close do you keep to that? It's funny. The reason I say that is Colin and I are ear to hear to hear to hear. Question. Jack is I don't plan anything. right? So, we're sometimes we're so used to it now, it's actually refreshing, but it was frustrating at first. And Jack was the same way because we're all making a trip together. And it's like, okay, where are we going first day? How many miles are we going? Where are we stopping? Jack's like, we'll get a hotel when we get a hotel when we want to stop. And I'm like, oh my God. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's got to be the way to be, right?
Well, like, I think it's 50-50. Like, the beautiful in between is like having a plan. So like, you're not totally unprepared when you get out there. And like, if something happens, you know where the nearest town is that has a dealership, or you know where the next service is and that kind of stuff. So I obsessively plan my route before the trip, but then I just accept when I get out there, it's not going to go the way that I think it's going to go.
The timing, right?
Yeah.
That is awesome. Love it. Thanks for that. It's the whole Magpie thing. I tried to go back because I've watched almost all your videos to go back and go, where does that originate? I'm like, so thanks for what. So it was really, the inspiration was really just your parents. It was started off with, hey folks, this is what I'm doing type deal, and then just something bigger, right? Yeah,
it was for my parents, but it was also just like a way for me to like have it and be able to look back on it, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it again. And I like to relive things. I have like so many photos, like starting from when I got like my first like digital camera, like in like middle school. I took pictures of freaking everything because like I like reliving things, and I'm one of those people who will like sit through and go through my like folders on my computer and just like relive shit for a whole afternoon.
For Colin and Jack, we've been talking, the three of us and our wives are going to do a trip together, and we've been trying to get the mileage like in between. So we're talking, is it 350 for us or 500 for us or 600? Meanwhile, you're going all across the country and you're trying to save about 100 miles. I think I should probably just suck it up and go a little further, guys.
Again, I feel inferior.
It's all an endurance thing. Like you could do it. It's just like you start out like with the smaller chunks, and then you build up an endurance to do it. And it happens for me like every summer. Like I don't start off the summer like doing 700-mile days. Like I start with shorter days and build up. Because of course in the wintertime I lose all of the endurance that I built up the last summer.
That is for sure. Okay, next question. This is for all of us, and Amanda, we'll start with you. The three of us have talked about adventure riding, and all three of us getting an adventure bike. So the question for us is, what the heck's the problem, right? You're kind of an inspiration, hopefully, today to get at least me moving on that. And Amanda, you ever see yourself on a touring motorcycle?
I actually own a Honda Shadow. I don't know if you would count that as a touring motorcycle or not. It's not a bagger, but it's definitely a cruiser. I did work at a Harley-Davidson dealership for 2 years. I've ridden the big baggers, like on big group rides and that kind of stuff. I think they're wonderful bikes. I love the way that the Road Glide like rides, but I don't like the way that the fairing looks.
Brilliant. As somebody who has an ultra limited and Jack has a Road Glide, I know the Road Glide is better for touring or longer. I just can't take how it looks. It looks great. It's just not for me. I'm glad that there's.
I wish they could like take the fairing off the street glide and put it on the Road Glide, because I want the fixed fairing. I don't want all the weight on the forks.
Right. Yeah. Big difference.
It's really hard to like move around in the city. But yeah, I want them to take the street glide front and put it on the Road Glide.
So Jack, you mentioned earlier that you sounds like you have approval on a second bike. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking adventure riding, or what's going on?
Now I don't know because I'm looking at the Street Bob. That's one choice. I told you the other night I was thinking about the Heritage, second choice. But then I'm really looking at the Royal. Is it the Royal Enfield? Brand new motorcycle for $5,000, and it's an adventure bike. It's a dual sport, and I think that it would be amazing. So, and Miss HDR said, if you want to buy a new bike, that's the one you got to buy because, well, obviously the price is right. So, but that's my thoughts so far. And you guys were talking about the fixed fairing, and this is what irritates me. And I follow every Facebook group in the world on the Road Glides. oh, it's the shark nose. I'm like, I want to take these people and just strangle them to death. It's like, it is not a shark nose. You know, it's like, it's just, that's the horrible thing. Yeah, look at the shark nose. And I just want to punch him in the face. What did my daughter say the other night? Dad, I just want to throat punch the guy. I thought that was the greatest thing ever for a female to say. And,
yeah, Jack is out on work release this weekend. So, pardon me. You know what? When we get Jack passionate, Amanda, it's our best live feeds.
That's right. You got to be passionate about something. Don't call it shark nose. It's a Harley Davidson Road Glide. There you go.
How do you feel about Batwing then?
Batwing. What do you mean bat? What's Batwing? Is it like the Batmobile? It's like it's not Batwing. It doesn't even look like a Batwing. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Honestly, like if any of them are Batwing, it's like the Indian. What is that? Like the Dark Horse, the Chieftain, or whatever. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, because it's kind of bent back.
It's like actually a Batwing.
Yeah, it looks like Batwings. The Harley thing is like, I don't. Why do people say that? People are
Jack medicine.
Jack.
Colin, you asked. You're like, what do you think about the Batwing, Jack? Well, hey.
We can debate that fixed versus without fixed, you know, for an entire hour. So I mean, obviously, I'm not a road glide kind of guy. I have a street glide special, so I have the Batwing.
Hey, I have a buddy though. I bought the road glide. He will no longer ride with me. He won't.
Oh,
he said, I don't want to see those double headlights in the back. They're bright, they're shiny, they're beautiful. He said, but I will not ride with it. And he has not ridden with me since I bought it.
He just doesn't want to be blinded. That's
ridiculous though.
I should have ran over his ass is what I should have did in the middle of the street. Like, wham, just run right over him.
Jack, since I moved away from Pittsburgh, you're angry. I love it. This is awesome.
We can't ride together anymore. So now it's like,
you know, there's people that you can talk to about these anger issues, but people, we like it.
People, help me. I'm sorry, Colin. We're stealing your thunder.
Did you switch the screens, Bob?
I did not.
No.
Okay, I could have sworn I was on the left in the beginning.
You were
later.
Maybe I need to take my medicine.
He was going to ask.
So to answer the question, absolutely nothing is stopping me from adventure riding. I am a KTM fan, so I've always wanted to get a KTM as a bike for a adventure bike.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been on one in my life. I am going to take a demo ride when the new one comes out from Harley in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. But I've always wanted to do it. I mean, right now I'd say 95% of my riding is street, but I want to do that. I mean, I have like a passion for taking that up as a second bike to definitely do adventure. I mean, there's a couple people in here that have already commented saying they've got adventure and a normal bagger, and I love it, man. I would love to buy a second bike like an adventure bike. Mm-hmm. What's preventing me? My wife. Too much money.
You know what I think is Jack and Colin know. You know, I used to be one of those guys that went to the Hatfield and McCoy trails for years with buddies and rode quads, and they rode dirt bikes and I rode quads, and I stopped doing that 3 or 4 years ago. And I just kind of missed that excitement a little more than just the street stuff. So mm-hmm. I am definitely looking at adding a third bike, but I can't talk about that because that's a future video. So that would be the wrong thing.
Somebody talked about taking my pill. I got to take it now, okay?
You better take 2 of them.
Let me wash it down.
Like licorice.
You know, this is kind of good. You know, Motor Ambulance says it's great. And think about that. We do that. We're going to have the best of both worlds, right? For us. So. Great answer, guys. So Amanda, you recently rode, I believe it was 8,000 miles. I'm not sure the exact amount, but pretty much across the country. You know, I've actually listed my favorite video of that trip in the link, as well as your both your channels, by the way, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But such a long trip. Tell us about that. How long was it? And what's the 2 or 3 things? Because you're used to doing this to a certain extent, traveling. What stuck out at you when you go back and say, what's the 2 or 3 things that really grabbed you that you're like, oh my God, this is just awesome?
So it ended up being like 7,929. I was just shy of 8,000, but 8,000 looks so much better. And the title.
It does. Better thumbnail for sure.
Yeah. And it was 24 days, specifically because my work would only give me 3 weeks off. So I was working at REI at that point, and they have a wonderful thing that's called like lifetime adventure. So I would be able to ask for a leave of absence, but they would only give me like 3 weeks off. So I was like, okay, how am I have to do something that I had planned to take a month and a half in like 3 weeks. So that was kind of intense, but I definitely like wouldn't redo it at this point, especially like with all the things that happened. I think that 24 days was just perfect. There were definitely a couple of days where like I was pushing and I was doing a lot more miles and stopping and seeing stuff, but that's just kind of how it works when you try to tackle that much mileage in a short period of time.
Sure.
Three things. I was unprepared for how many people were camping. That was a new thing. It definitely changed how I traveled the second half of not necessarily the whole second half of the trip, but on the East Coast, I ended up in a whole lot more hotels than I anticipated being in. Because there was like days where I would go to the first campground that I had picked on the map and they were totally booked. And like the second and third and the fourth had no room. And so I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to get a hotel for the night and that kind of stuff. So that happened a lot. So I stayed in a lot more hotels than I was anticipating. So that was interesting. I still ended up under budget, which was super cool. I have a whole video about that because I had budgeted so much for going and doing like tours and attractions and that kind of stuff. So that part of my budget kind of buffered the fact that I spent so much more money on accommodation than I anticipated because all those attractions were closed. Cool, like, does that count as number one, or am I just talking about cool things?
All cool things.
Okay. And the next thing is, I would say, seeing the Atlantic Ocean for the first time hit me a lot stronger than I thought that it would. That was very emotional for me, and ironically, that's like the least viewed video of like the whole series.
Isn't that how it goes, though? You think it's your best video, and it doesn't end up that way.
But yeah, seeing the Atlantic Ocean for the first time and like realizing that I had made it clear across the United States, like just like literally from ocean to ocean, was super intense. I cried a lot. That wasn't in the video. Getting to walk on the beach for the first time and getting Atlantic Ocean water in my boots on accident. I didn't mean to do that. That was cool.
Amanda, I remember watching that video with you going to the Atlantic Ocean, and then the three of us. I mean, I only live like an hour and a half from the Atlantic Ocean, so I'm like, okay, it's water. No, I mean, I didn't think it was. Honestly, I remember watching that, and I'll let you. You can. What was the name of that for everybody, in case they haven't seen it?
Oh my gosh!
Putting you on the spot, but it was one of them. When you did that, I know, and I called you out in the beginning. You were so happy. It was just cool when I watched that and seeing your smile.
Yeah.
And how amazing. I'm like, wow, to me, it's like Ocean City. North Carolina, I've been there. But at the same time, you being for the first time and then you coming from the Pacific Ocean. When I went to the Pacific Ocean, I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's got some rocks and it's the ocean. But no, I thought that was really neat that your emotion on that was like kind of moving, man. So right on. It was cool.
Thank you. I think I retitled it. That's why I couldn't remember it. Now it's called I Got Soaked Motorcycle Camping Fail. Initially, it was like, I made it to the Atlantic Ocean and like nobody cared. So I retitled it and it kind of gained a little bit more traction. But
Yeah. And you know what, Colin, just to add that, I think that's one of the things that's appealing about Amanda and her channel. It's just the excitement of what she's doing. I mean, we're all really lucky to be able to do what we do, right? And I think, Amanda, you kind of show that for sure. So any big obstacles Was there any obstacle that you go, oh crap, I didn't think about this? Because you're a planner, I could see it.
Yeah.
You got it together, right?
Which is good because Bob and I are planners.
Yeah, we appreciate that side of you.
I feel like trying to find camping was like really my biggest hurdle, which is like really weird because normally something ultimately goes wrong on the bike. Something always breaks. Like that's just the nature of my trips. But I knew going into it that I was going to have to replace the tire at some point. I knew going into it that I was going to have to change the chain and sprocket on the road. I actually had forwarded a chain and sprocket to Milwaukee because I knew I was going to go see Megan Stark. And so I was able to send it to her. And I figured that I could make it to Chicago. Obviously, I didn't. And I spent like a whole day calling dealerships between Montana and like South Dakota trying to find somebody that would overnight my sprocket. Because everybody had my chain, but nobody had the sprockets for my bike because dealerships don't carry that kind of stuff anymore because every bike needs something so specific. And finally, I found that shop in Rapid City that would overnight it, and they weren't open on the weekends, and I wasn't going to make it there until Saturday. So we arranged a specific place, like on his property, that it would be hidden, so I could go pick it up, even though they wouldn't be open. They were so cool. Like Roscoe's in Rapid City, like highly recommend. They bent over backwards to help me. They were incredible. So my brother and I changed sprocket and chain in a KOA campground. Not something that I thought that I was going to be doing, but it, it did the job.
You know, it's funny. Jack did a video with his wife. I think it was their first camping trip, and Colin and I, our wives, are talking about how we fit the Hyatt into the camping trip. So the Hyatt is going to work for us, but HDR has been the one that's ventured out for us. So yeah, I think we did. How many videos did you do of that trip?
I think there's 11 in total for like the official trip. I have a couple of like prep videos before I left, getting the bike ready, adding a bunch of new parts, and then the couple of videos like afterwards, just kind of like going over like my budget and everything that I took on the trip and just like general questions that I was repeatedly getting about the trip. Yeah,
I'll bet. So you said there were more people camping than you thought.
Yeah.
So, you're like, why are you all out here?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I get it. Like you're trying to get into new things. That's cool. I'm stoked that more people are learning how awesome it is to be outside. I think that's awesome. And I think that's fantastic for like everybody's mental health. Like that's amazing. But also leave room for me, please.
I think people don't actually know what to do with their kids right now because they're stuck in their house with them all week long. And they're like, we got to do something. So instead of chaining their kids in the basement like we used to do when our kids were younger, they go camping with them and they annoy all the other motorcycle campers.
See, like when I was a kid, like my parents would just give me the walkie-talkie and then kick me out the door. So
hey, Amanda, it was us. We didn't have walkie-talkies. Well, I guess we did. But our parents would say, when the street light comes on, you better be walking in this front door. That's what they would say.
Did they have air conditioning back then, Jack? I don't.
No, we did not. No, and actually, we would be walking in the door. The street light comes on, man. I remember I was 16. We'd be walking with the 6-pack. My mother said, "Why you got the beer?" I said, "Well, the street light came on, and we weren't finished with it yet."
Nice.
Hey, Bob, I just want to call out, and we got a couple people in here, and I know Amanda, you probably know them. Whit Meza, and Robin, both have done some really, really long distance rides, and so kind of like an inspiration. Those two ladies have done great along with you. So I saw them in the chat. I wanted to call them out.
Yeah.
Whit and Robin are part of us, and I've always thought if I can ever get rid of both Jack and Colin, that they're the next couple hosts. But
mute button.
I hate when I say that out loud. I'm sorry.
There's nobody as cute as me and Colin. Though. Just remember.
Sure, Jack.
See, Colin. As soon as you say that, Colin goes right to the old egg cups. He goes like right to the old egg cups.
Colin, every time you do that, dude, I gotta have therapy the next week. So all right, this is a question for all of us, Amanda. We'll start with you again. What's your favorite motorcycle and why? Because you got like 50 of them. So which ones or ones that you've given back? There's got to be one.
Oh God. This is like trying to tell me to pick my favorite child. Oh. I have to say Lazarus just because she was my first bike, and if I had to get rid of all of them and only keep one, Lazarus would be my baby forever. For those who don't know, Lazarus is a 1980 Suzuki GS850 GL. I get a lot of shit because my first bike was so big, but I learned to ride specifically so that I could go from Portland to Montana and back, and I wasn't starting on any 200.
Yeah, right.
I get it. Jack, how about you?
Mine would have to be the Shark Nose. Go Shark Nation! Yeah, Shark Nation!
Dude, you got to get outside. I'm going to come pick you up tomorrow. We got to go for a ride.
It's snowing out there. That's why my beard's so white. I was out in the snow. This is actually snow. It's actually black. But, no, it would have to be the Road Glide Ultra. I mean, I've never experienced a better motorcycle, a better ride in my entire life. So, just saying.
It's funny. It's like most people say their current bike, but I mean, I love my Street Glide Special. I really do. I enjoy the hell out of it. But probably the most fun was my Fat Bob. I had a 2006 Fat Bob, and I enjoyed the hell out of that bike. Just hitting different roads, and I mean, it's a lot lighter than the bike I have now. I did a stage one on it. It was so much fun. That's probably my favorite bike by far.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I'm like you, Colin. I have an Ultra Limited, which is a great big cruiser, and I have an old, Road King. But I will tell you that my Street Glide Special that I had was probably my favorite bike that Jack basically made me sell.
I said, sell that thing right now. Your wife would not be comfortable on there. Sell it. So,
Amanda, got to share this story with you real quick. So, my wife and I, and Jack and his wife, it was one of the first times that we were riding. We stopped by, and I had the Street Glide Special. We stopped by a little gas station to get some water, and we all pulled over. And Jack's wife went in, and I went in, and Jack was standing outside with my wife next to our bikes. And we went in and got water and came back out. And my wife looked me dead in the eye and said, "I like these people. We're going to do longer rides. You need to trade your bike in for something bigger." So Jack still owes me $30,000.
And wait, now let's go one step further with that story real quick. Is the very next year we plan to ride, the four of us going to Maine all together. And the day before the ride, Bob calls me and goes, "Jack, I'm sorry, we can't go with you." I said, "Why, Bob?" He goes, "We're moving to Michigan because you suck." And I said, "What?" He said, "You suck ass, dude. I can't ride with you that far." My wife said, "You're kind of like, you got a gray beard and you're ugly, and we're not going with you." And they moved away. They moved to Michigan. We never rode with them again. So, that's the story.
Jack, honestly, I know that I told you a story, but since we're talking about it, it's your anger issues, dude. We just we just had them move, right? So, all right, Amanda, a recent video of yours on how to make better motorcycle travel videos. One of my favorites of all of them is beautiful. You've had rides. I love that one. What's your advice for somebody that's either starting off or somebody that's kind of like us that does a lot of moto vlog stuff? And we get on the bike and kind of talk, and every now and then we'll show, the rear of our bike, and maybe we'll do a little B-roll for like 5 seconds, or we'll throw up a drone. What's your advice? Because there's so much there, right? Mm-hmm. Where would you start for not only a beginner, but somebody that really just has been a basic moto vlogger?
Like for somebody who's just starting, who hasn't even made videos yet, I think that so many people who want to get into moto vlogging focus so much on the tech aspect and having to get a GoPro and having to get the mic adapter and then setting up their moto vlogging helmet. You don't have to have a moto vlogging helmet to start making videos. Like I am a pure example. I don't talk in the helmet at all. It's just like the helmet cam footage, and that's not even like my main A-roll. My helmet cam footage is actually B-roll for me. The A-roll is like when I am off the bike and I am talking to you like a person. You can see me, you can see my expressions, that kind of stuff, but I'm also showing you where we are and like what the landscape looks like and the details of that landscape so that you feel like you're there with me. And I think that's really important. I think that if people are looking at like starting to make vlogs and that kind of stuff on YouTube, is like, worry about the helmet cam and like the mic setup later. Just start making videos. The more videos that you make, the better you'll be at it.
So where's your audio coming from?
Right now?
No, your audio when you're riding.
And most of the time I don't have any in-helmet audio.
Okay.
I have a couple of times I'll use the Sena 10C Evo because that like is already taking the mic that's already coming off of that's in my helmet. I just don't normally enjoy that kind of audio because it's loud. Like I'm battling wind noise, I'm battling engine noise, and that stuff is really distracting to me. I'm not shaming anybody. So don't take it that way, please.
All three of them.
I just ripped mine out of my helmet while she was talking.
But for the most part, like I stop and I'll talk to the camera on the side of the road, and then like maybe like it's called the J cut, where like the audio from my A roll or whatever is going like this, and then the B roll starts before I'm finished talking, and so that's called a J cut because like it's the shape anyway. So like it's a much more like smooth transition as a viewer. Like the audio teeters off, the B-roll starts, and then you're moved into that like the next scene of B-roll and that kind of stuff. So most of the time the audio when I'm on the road, I have like a Rode video micro hooked on top of my A7R2, and it's a big DSLR. That's my main camera. You don't have to have a DSLR to start making videos either. You can do it with your phone. That's totally fine. If you do start making videos with your phone, I do recommend getting some kind of external mic though, so that your audio is just a little bit better.
Yeah. Audio is key.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that your audience will forgive. Like, you can have a shitty 480 like video that like as long as your story is interesting, that's all that matters, but they need to be able to hear your story. So if your audio is off, like that's the first thing that's going to make people click off. And for like established moto bloggers, I just want to see more of the landscape. I like little things that you see when you're off the bike is just as important as what you're seeing while you're on the bike. And I wish that I could tell that to more people without them getting angry at me.
Yeah.
I've had responses and comments the same way, man. You're exactly right. Where myself and my wife will go to this beautiful waterfall. I'll say, hey, what's this waterfall? Boom. Okay, we're leaving the waterfall. Guys, back on the road again. And people are like, where was the damn waterfall? I mean, that's what people are watching motor vlogs for. They're not watching you to ride down the road going like, I'm riding my motorcycle. Woohoo. They don't really care. They don't really care. That's not what the whole point is. Where are we going? So I have a whole new season coming out this year, Amanda, and a lot of it's inspired by you. From your aspect of, and I see some other people, like you said, riding their motorcycle, not really talking. Adam Sandoval is great for that, right? He rides across the country. He gets off. He goes, "Oh, we're down in this valley looking at this stream. Look at this creek," and they don't talk on the bike. So maybe you're right. Rip that mic off of that helmet. Throw that shit away. Then you won't do it. So maybe that's it.
Jack, I think you're so right. I think, and that's one of the questions a little bit later, is the do different, right? I think it is showing some of that. But one of the things that I admire about Amanda's work is, we may get off the bike and go, okay, I'm going to walk to this waterfall. I'm going to show you the waterfall. And all of a sudden you look at the video and that was 2 minutes, right? And a lot of times if you watch some of Amanda and folks that I think are really, really good at this, that may be 5 seconds. And as somebody who does this now, we kind of go, oh my God, how long did it take her really to do this? How much coverage did it really take?
Well, yeah,
did it really take?
And you watch Itchy Boots too, and I watch you two guys, not with your drones. People do this drone footage. A drone footage of 5 minutes is overdone. I click off. I'm like,
yeah.
Drone footage of 20 seconds, 30 seconds is amazing. It's showing me where you're at. It's giving me that overview. Like I've tried to. My wife holds a GoPro and I throw her up in the air, but it's just not the same as a drone. Keep around real fast and cheap, but it sucks. So
I will throw in because you started the talk about drones, so I'm just going to put this in.
Yeah, go ahead, throw it in, Amanda.
if you decide to get a drone and your channel is monetized, you have to be licensed with the FFA in order to use that drone footage because you're using it commercially because you're making money off of AdSense.
Yeah.
I also want to just really emphasize here to get an app like AirMap so that you know if you're in protected airspace or not. This is a pet peeve of mine.
or to know if you're in an electromagnetic generator area where
or in a national park.
I checked the app.
Don't even get me started.
I checked the app, and the app said the dam was fine.
No, but it was the electric. It was the electromagnetic. We didn't understand that was
my drone. We went
electric.
to the Allegheny National Forest last year, and my drone shut off in the middle of what was up like 400 feet.
It just took off.
It just went off. I'm like, shit.
Colin, are you talking about the dam?
Yeah, when we were all running around looking up in the sky, I'm like, where is it?
Yeah, where did it go?
Amanda, the greatest thing about that was the look on his face. I went rushing to my motorcycle so I could get my camera to watch the drone close to the dam. But it was an experience. Actually, Colin, I was going to buy a drone until I saw that incident with you, and I think you're right. I have a drone now and actually love it, but you're right. It can be overdone for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, I know there's a way with our drones that it can kind of follow you.
Yes.
Is it wrong to drop my wife off, have her sit in the woods, run the drone up over the road, and then me drive by? It's really what I was thinking about doing, but
I mean, I don't think that's wrong.
What about having your wife fly the drone though in the back seat? Like she could be behind you flying it.
That's true, and then you wouldn't have to rely on the not so reliable follow me mode.
But is it wrong to tell your wife like, I don't want any of you in the footage? I just want.
No, there goes the new bike.
That depends on whether or not she even wants to be filmed, because my partner doesn't like being in front of the camera. So
I was going to ask you that. It's funny because I didn't know you had a significant other, obviously, because you're not in your videos.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys ride together at all?
He's ridden on the back a few times. He's not really interested in riding in general. Like, art is what connects us. We both went to the same art school.
Okay.
And we went through thesis together, which is like a very bonding experience.
Wait. You went through feces together?
Thesis.
Oh, your
Got me all messed up, Jack.
Of your master's degree. I was like, whoa, what's she talking about? Hold on.
That's the thing about art school. I only have a bachelor's degree, but you have to do a thesis to get your bachelor's in art school.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So it's like a 6-month process. It's super intense, and you're doing all your regular classes on top of it. And
you had video editing in art school, huh?
No, I didn't.
You did it. Okay.
I started making videos in high school for like my journalism class because we did like the news in the morning. And I was the only one that would like shoot like video clips on my little point and shoot, and then I would edit them together for like the news class.
Oh, cool.
And I did all of that in like Windows Movie Maker, and thinking about it makes me cringe now.
I know. Don't that make it makes you want to throw up? Like people email me, it's like, HDR, I'm using Windows Movie Maker. I said, yeah, just forget it. You're not a moto vlogger.
So what, Amanda, you're this is a strength of yours for sure, but is there anything in 2021 that you want to focus on with your channel or improvements that you want to make?
I want to get better at thumbnails. I feel like I'm pretty weak at that. Mostly thumbnails and getting better at titles. I've gotten a lot better at SEO in 2020, which showed because my channel grew a lot in 2020.
Sure.
But yeah, I want to focus more on like making a compelling thumbnail, and I think that's my main goal, really. I have a lot of like travel goals for 2021, but I'm not necessarily sure that that's totally channel related, even though I'll probably record all of them. But yeah.
Man, the thumb and title is everything.
Exactly.
It really is.
Jack, what do you think? How about your channel?
I think I'm going to do some thumbing and some titling. No, thumb and titles are important. It's a shame that us people in general, as YouTube creators, and a lot of people in the chat room are YouTube creators, have to worry so much about, I need some kind of freaking picture that's amazing. They will click on it because they can't freaking read the title. And that's what it is. They can't read the title. It's like, I look at the picture and they click on the picture.
Yeah.
and it's sad that we got to put that much emphasis in that and so much time in that to earn. Like my highest earning video, man, it's like $5.18. It's like I could probably go on a street corner with a cup and make $5.18 probably within an hour. But not, if you think about it, there's a guy very close to us at this shopping mall. He has one leg. He probably owns like 3 cars, a big house, because he just has a cup. Anyway.
I can just picture Jack with a cardboard sign saying, "I'm an influencer."
Come buy custom dynamic lights, man. Give me $1.
Please subscribe. Jack on the corner. I get it.
I think my improvement, though, is this year is, first of all, on our trips, I don't think I'm going to upload every night like we've been doing over the past 5 years. I think I'm going to do more like Amanda, that's come home and put together a story of that entire journey. And try to release it more as a short documentary, Amanda, like you do. Short documentaries is what I would call that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important. But guys, and we still can't get away from your core where people have been watching us. They subscribe to us for a reason. Obviously, ride on motorcycles, we talk about shit, and that's what people love. They love that. They love us telling stories. They love, when Broncoride never introduces himself in his videos. He's like, "Hey guys, it's Colin." You don't even know what his channel is unless you look at the title. You know, it's a Colin video show. I don't know, but it's authentic. You have to, and I told you guys, you got to be authentic and you got to be you.
Yeah.
But I think my trips are going to be different this year. We're planning a lot of them, so we're planning on being on the road for probably about a month this year. So we'll see.
Yay.
Colin, how about you?
I want to show more of all of this.
God, I will watch it, Colin. Oh, God, I'll watch you. He knew that. Oh, the chat room's lighting up. No, Colin, don't show it.
Oh, take that off.
Yeah, Colin, what do you want to do, man, with your channel?
Honestly,
I know we talked about
similar to what, a couple people have already said this to you, Amanda, about doing more B-roll. I think I do some, but probably not enough. And sometimes it's hard. I mean, especially if like you're local and you just do a quick vlog. I mean, I think all 3 of us are more of the vlog centered on the bike, the exception of the travel videos. So whenever we do travel videos, or like, that's when you can really get details. But like, and then really get some great footage, either with the drones or, like telling different stories. I always, with your videos, I always have like a mindset of like a beginning, middle, end. No matter what, is like, let me tell a story, and is it going to create an arc where people are interested?
Yes.
And no matter what, I try to do that on mine, and I'm going to continue to try to do that. But I definitely have to get more kind of off the bike type deals. I think like when honestly, I know I was joking a second ago when I said all of this, but to make it more personal, because when you're not making it, when you don't see yourself enough, I kind of make it as personal as it could be, and that's what I'm going to try to work on.
Yeah,
Colin, I would agree with you. I mean, I thought it's the B-roll, it's utilizing the drone appropriately, right? And then I watch Amanda's videos and go, boy, I got a lot of stuff I could do. So I really want to focus though on 1 or 2 of those things, especially for the first couple months. Really try to get that right and hone it in a little bit better, and then kind of go from there. And like you guys, just tell a story, right? All right, Amanda, you have a background in illustration. Some people may not know that about you, and you also have a channel about that. Tell us about. I know you talked a little bit earlier about that. Tell us about it. Is this kind of what you do in the winter? Is this an additional fun thing that you do? I don't know where you get the time to do this and the channel and work, and tell us a little bit about that.
Oh gosh. The illustration YouTube channel specifically was like, I had literally only started that because I had ambassadorship with Pentalic for a while, which is like a company that makes sketchbooks and that kind of stuff. And part of my contract was that I needed to make art videos for them too. So that's the reason that I have a separate YouTube channel about the art thing. And like, if you go to it, you'll notice that it doesn't have a whole lot of uploads because that contract ended. But yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in fine art. Art is my first love, and I know that sounds blasphemous, but it is. Like the first thing that I wanted to be when I was growing up was a jockey, and then I was told I was too fat for that, so then I decided that I was going to be an artist.
It'd be fun to be a jockey.
You should be pretty short. Like, yeah, the argument is there. The more weight that you have on the horse's back, the less fast it can go. All that stuff. Anyway, so I knew that I was going to go to art school like in the 6th grade, which I guess is a lot sooner than most people know what they're going to do with their life. And so like I applied to a bunch of scholarships, all that kind of stuff. I ended up going to art school in Portland because my grandpa was here, my brother was here, and I also got a scholarship that covered half of my tuition, which was super great, and nobody else was offering me that. And I got halfway through art school. I thought that I was going to be an art director or like work for an animation studio to develop characters and that kind of stuff. That didn't end up happening. I got halfway through college and was like, what is the point of this? You're making so much work like consistently and like rapidly like turning it over that like the work that you made last week doesn't matter anymore. And so it gave me a bit of a complex being like, well, what's the point of making if it doesn't matter? Like I make it, it matters for 5 seconds and then it's gone. So that's what got me onto tattooing, because like, you know, if somebody gets your work tattooed on their body, it's there forever. So it matters to them. And I do love tattooing. My mentor kind of ruined the industry for me, but I do love the process of tattooing, and I love like how much people love the work once it's on their body. But obviously I'm not doing that anymore. So I went on the pilgrimage. I came back, decided I wanted to be a mechanic. And I did that for maybe like 3 months. And then they closed down the section of the dealership that I was working in, and they found out that I could draw. So then they moved me into the events and marketing department. And so then I was making all of the event posters. And so that kind of put me into a very specific niche for motorcycle event posters. So I started doing that for a lot of people. Like P&W Dual Sport, I have a very long-standing relationship with them. So I make pretty much all of their event posters, which has been super cool because we've developed this trust. So he just lets me do whatever I want.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can you do a tattoo property of a? So I say this because when Jack and I rode with our wives the first time, we talked about how our wives needed to get vests that said property of HDR, property of BoDean 52, or a tattoo. Needless to say, they're still pissed off at us about that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really funny when Amanda brought that up where it's permanent. That's why I didn't have my first 2 wives' names tattooed anywhere in my body. My 3rd wife would be really pissed off right now and be like, oh shit, I got to see their names all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Amanda. Bob has a tramp stamp of my logo on his ass.
how do you know, wait, Colin, wait, I was with you guys the mountain. How do you know this? You guys were in your room for quite a while. I was kind of curious.
Dude, I told you that was between you and me. Now that's out in public, it's coming off.
Oh.
You just got to hit the bottle, man. Hit the bottle.
I am done with you.
Okay.
Hey, I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but I want to make sure all the folks that have joined us. I'm sure, Colin, there's some questions for Amanda. So do you have some that we can?
Yeah,
go
I
over?
do have a couple questions because I know it's about 5-10 minutes before we need to wrap up. So these are going to go quick. So Robin, the lady biker, asked you, when are you coming out to ride with me, Amanda?
Is it Robin in California?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's in California.
Yes. Yeah.
So she's like, when are you coming out to ride with her?
I don't know right now. Most of my trips I've planned for this year are like in Idaho and
Sorry, Robin.
maybe Arizona. That one's very 50-50. But I know that I'm doing the Idaho BDR this year. And I'm going back to Montana. I want to go back to Southern California. I spent a lot of time in California in 2018 and like the end of 2019. So I had my fill for a while. But if Babes Are Out happens again this year, then I might go do that. So maybe then, who knows?
And guys, I apologize if I missed any questions in the beginning. I was like,
This was your only.
write them all down really quick. Mr. McStash asked, how did you start the camp out thing? And is there a benefit or a purpose to it?
The Rocky Mountain Roll started as just like a party when I ended the pilgrimage. I just wanted to like have like a yay, you did the thing and it's over now kind of party. And then a lot more people wanted to come. And then my mom was like, oh no, you have to have insurance and get porta potties for those people. We're not doing this. So then I had to sell tickets so that I could afford to rent porta potties and pay for insurance. And then, so I accidentally just said it as public. So then a bunch of people I didn't even know bought tickets. And that kind of snowballed. And there was a bunch of people who wanted to come the first year that couldn't. So I did it again. And like 74 people came the second year, which was insane.
Wow.
And I think that's still like the biggest number that we've ever had was the second year was 74 people. And then my closer friends that call themselves lifers that have gone to like every single Rocky Mountain Roll, they're like, well, you have to do it again next year. And that like, I did it again and there was like 9 people. And I was like, okay, so this is teetered off, you know, like this isn't a thing anymore. And my parents were like, oh no, you don't know if it was just a bad year. You have to do it again. So now they're involved. And now it's going to be our 6th year. And I guess a point is just that I was trying to take all the things that I enjoy about motorcycling events, like camping with other people who rode a long way to get there and just getting to hang out and chill with them and then just like exploring a new area and take away all the things that I don't like about large motorcycling events, like super loud bands, merch rows, because I hate feeling like I'm being sold something and I have an obligation to buy. I hate that so much. So we took away March Row. We don't have bands or anything like that to keep you up late at night because I'm an old lady and I would like to go to sleep at 11. No.
Old lady at 30 years old is not old enough.
Yeah, trust me, you're not old.
I feel old because like there's people my age that are like, yeah, we're going to party until 2 a.m. And I'm like, I just want to sleep.
All right, next one. Anonymous Biker asked, what are your thoughts? I know I touched on it earlier on the Pan America.
On the Pan America. I just want to ride it first. I don't want to like make any kind of judgment call until I can ride it. That's,
Agreed.
And Toby Northern asked, how much do you use Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or other social media? Do you have a preference?
I use Instagram the most. I actually had to put a time limit on my phone because I use Instagram too much. YouTube is like the closest. I think like YouTube and Instagram are like my top platforms. And then Facebook is like a low third. I have a Twitter. I don't use it very much.
And I think that is it. Guys, I apologize if I missed any. I think I tried to get 4 or 5 written in there. Bob, you had a question. Do you feel special?
Are you talking about me?
All right. Well, your name is Bob.
Well, there's a lot of Bobs in here. So no,
there's a question specifically. They want to know how Mrs. BoDean is doing.
Oh, okay. So Mrs. BoDean is doing fantastic. Amanda, my wife, fell off the back of my pickup truck while helping me stack wood. So, again, the people that are saying that I pushed her off, it is not true. I did give her the beer virus, but I did not push her off the truck. So, no, thanks for asking. She's doing fantastic and keeping me in line. So that means she is feeling better.
That was Bob Nelson, I believe, that asked that. So,
of course, because Bob Nelson's the nicest guy in the world.
He is the nicest guy in the world. So, Steve Street Glide just threw. I don't know if you caught this on the chat. I wanted to highlight it, but I don't have that option, so only you can do it if you see it. He says, "Have we considered doing a Fireside Chat sweatshirt with our logos on it? And if so, he would be interested." I don't know if that means you're interested in helping putting that together. I don't know if you see that or not, but I wanted to throw you out there. Speaking of Bob, look what he does.
Amanda's going to design that shirt.
I don't know if you boys can afford me.
Amanda, we just got $50. We got $50.
Maybe Bob Nelson can be our money man. So Bob, thank you, brother. We appreciate that. So hey, man, out of respect for everybody's time, I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, so thanks for everybody that's popped in. Thank you a lot for coming in. Any final thoughts before we wrap up from you, Amanda?
Oh gosh, I just thank you guys so much for having me, and thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out and just being awesome people. It's super fun being a part of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. We love it and been trying to get you on a long time. I appreciate you taking time. So,
Sorry, for a while.
grandfather of motor vlogging, Mr. HarleyDayRider.
Amanda, thank you so much, daughter. I do appreciate you being here tonight with us. Dad, me has been like doing the show forever, and we're just glad to have you on board. Hey, the video you did recently, I watched with the oil change. You told the story about the female that rode with you, and you guys were in the rain, and
yeah,
we were in a hotel room the other night. My wife's like, "Who are you watching?" I said, "Amanda." She said, "You mean that woman, the Magpie Flies?" And I said, "Yeah, that's her." And she goes, "She's pretty goddamn amazing." And I said, "Absolutely, hun. She is really amazing." And she loves you. She loves watching you because she rides with me. We ride in all kind of weather, rain, but your story about the gloves and everything was amazing. It's like, this is real life. Nobody that people that say they travel on a motorcycle and they like, and they don't have stories like yours. They don't travel on motorcycles. You know what I mean? You have the stories, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for everything you do. Keep bringing us great videos and keep telling your amazing stories. We appreciate you very much. So thanks. And we'll see you next time.
Amanda, thank you. You got a good heart on you, girl. So it's in your smile. So I could see why you're very popular. So continue doing what you're doing, and we do appreciate you coming on. And as always, everybody in the side chat, we can't thank you enough for week in, week out joining us on here. And we can't thank you. I think we had close to 80 people tonight.
Yay!
And so great job, Bob, for hosting tonight. Great job, Colin, for writing the 5 questions down as quick as I can. I just want to.
By the way, I think there was like 13 questions, but you got 5.
Okay, so I missed a couple. But I'm looking at the time. So thank you again, guys. It's been fun. It's been real, and yeah. Bob?
Amanda, I started off by talking. Thank you. You know, honestly, I know you have a great channel, and I've just been following you for a long time, and really admire what you do and appreciate you. Super glad to have you on. A lot of folks that are in the chat have also been on our show, but you're one of my favorites for sure. So thank you very much for that. Keep doing what you're doing, like Jack said, and thank you for everybody that's been here tonight. And go Steelers tonight.
Go Kansas City! Yeah, Tom Brady, go down.
No
sports.
Don't drink and drive, and check on a friend. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Be good.